Hey barbarians, what is up? My name is Phil. I am from Mints and Drops, and today I had the chance to sit down with the Koala hash clubs with Buck, Mole, and Cap. Per usual, we had a blast. Enjoy.
All
What
right,
is up, koalas? I'm so happy that you're here. Usually there's a plan, okay? There's like questions and whatnot. I forward the questions today, tonight, this morning. If you're watching this, there is none. Just four friends that's just going at it for 20, 25 minutes. How y'all doing?
Doing good, man. Super happy to be here.
Doing great.
Yeah, doing great.
How was summer? How's life? You're launching in 2 days, man. I am so happy for you. I will say this anywhere, everywhere. You guys are hustlers. You're working like crazy. Man, down the Discord, the vibes are always immaculate. You're bringing a positive force, vibes, everything. And it's a tough balance, right? But I just wanted to know, how was summer? If you will, we can start even at.
No, it's really fun. Like, I know we all went to, NYC,
NFT.
NFT New York City. There you go.
And that was really cool. Like, that was the first time, like, we met Maul in person, and it was just like a really cool experience to, like, that was, I can, you guys can speak as well, but that was my first time going to, an event like that.
Yeah, definitely my first time as well. But I think we all enjoyed it and got a better bond, especially with the team, especially with Maul as well. It was nice to get to know him, stay in the same room with him, bro.
Yeah, no.
Really?
The room was like 200 square feet max. There's no way.
So tiny. And
I
of course,
was trying to.
Nah. Hey, that's not podcast appropriate.
I wake up and Cap's next to me. I'm like, he's trying to.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, we have a 200 square foot room, hotel room, and both these mother effers are like 6 feet tall, and I'm short. I'm like 5'8". So I got there first. So I was like, all right, man, I got dibs. Like, you guys are already friends. You live in the same town. Like, you guys are sharing bunk beds. Like, that's all you. I got my own bed, so I claimed my stake and didn't let them.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Off to sleep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it was an event, right? Even though the event, is questionable. You guys, we've been through this. It was cool, but aside from this, it was the very first time, you guys doxed too. So that was an important moment.
Oh yeah, that's true as well. Yep.
Yeah, we thought it was important for the community. We're like, hey, if we're ever gonna dox, like, this should definitely be the event to do it at. So yeah, we had fun with it. We got to meet a bunch of people. Talk to a lot of teams or people from the foundation.
Patches.
Swirls Labs,
Crypto
Mason. We talked to
BitBoy Crypto.
Yeah, BitBoy Crypto. We talked to him for a little bit. It was like totally random too. Like, we were just walking around Times Square because the foundation was doing a bunch of advertisements like on the billboards and whatnot. It's like we were like sitting there for like 2 hours trying to find koalas, like, get a picture of it. And like out of the corner of my eye, I was like, that's definitely BitBoy Crypto. Like, follow him. Let's go see if we can talk to him.
We chased him down a couple blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, we gotta go. This is once in a lifetime. Like, we gotta go.
Wow. Did he see you? I didn't see the pics.
Yeah. We shook his hand and everything. Yeah, it was dope.
Talked to him for a couple minutes. Yeah, it was cool. He's a nice dude for real. So
yeah,
people give him a lot of shit, but he's a cool dude.
Wow. Hey, that's nice. You guys are launching in 2 days.
Yeah.
How's it? Everything coming along? Of course, there's been some, hiccups for sure, but from the outside perspective, it looks organized AF. No, it's true. We see all the steps since the first day you announced the min date.
I mean, it's definitely been a process behind the scenes. Like, we've had a lot of going back and forth. We had a 6-hour team call yesterday. Like, it's been nuts, man. But I think we've been doing a great job, and I think we're ready.
Yeah, for sure. Like,
a lot of work in the making for sure. And I'm pretty sure Cap probably wants to kill me at this point because he's doing a lot of like the shade, or not the shade, but like the color variations and whatnot. And he'll send it over. I'm like, nah, man, it doesn't look right. Like, we had to redo it. And I'm always tweaking and critiquing, and I'm definitely getting on his nerves, I can tell. But
nah, yeah, because like we didn't even like think about it really. We're kind of like, oh, this would be a dope trait. This would be cool colors. And then we're like, wait, should we have a color theme? It was like, oh shoot.
Wow. Then we had to narrow it down to color schemes, and then it was like we actually had too many traits to the point where like, okay, like almost everything is going to be rare. Like there's got to be some kind of hierarchy, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's
We
half
had
the
like
fun of secondary sales is trying to snipe and find some good deals. But yeah, so we've been grinding it out literally the past 2 weeks for sure hard.
Yeah.
Even the past couple months, it's been just like nonstop for real. So
we had like 100+ traits, and so we were just like,
yeah.
It was a lot especially for drop one, but I mean, we haven't shown everything, so we have a lot in store for, put on the sideline.
And that's always like, hey, silver lining, we can use some of this stuff for Gen 3. So even though we might be shelving it for the moment, like we'll have less work to do then. So that's good.
Wow. Hey, that's amazing. I mean, I'm really hyped. What you guys have been unleashing so far is really interesting. And again, you're bringing it in such a positive fashion, right? So, and now you got the KHK, the Koala coin.
Yeah,
Definitely excited.
Yeah, we're definitely hopefully it's going to bring a lot of utility to the project. Once Gen 2 is done minting, which is going to be 2 separate drops. So obviously we got drop 1 coming this Saturday the 8th, 2 p.m. for public, 7 a.m. for whitelist. Probably drop 2 will be like a month or so after that, give or take. So we're aiming for maybe like first week of November. But yeah, once we get that done, then we'll look to aim to launch our liquidity pool and SATOSHI swap. So that'll definitely provide some utility. And then besides the DeFi aspect, you'll be able to use it to buy merchandise, whitelist for Gen 3. We're setting aside like 200 koalas for farming and staking purposes to buy with KHK. Once we launch the play to earn game, you'll be able to use that to play that, earn some more KHK, enter in monthly tournaments, win HBAR prizes. So yeah, it's all kind of coming together now, which is definitely nice.
That's amazing. Scrolling on the options. That's
Oh
amazing.
my gosh.
This is the fun part where I imagine. I never launched a project, but I can only imagine. For sure, there's a couple of problem solving, but down the road, it's 48 hours, even less. Your dropping is going to be amazing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Like when it comes into like the hard work and like the late hours and everything, like we already dedicated. We know we're all pulling an all-nighter Friday probably. But the satisfaction that you get after when there's so many new holders, when you're able to donate, like it's just like that's what the reward is for all that work.
Exactly. Yeah. You see all the people getting hyped on Discord and Twitter and posting their koalas, and secondary sales are popping off. Like so, it's like I said, it's been a lot of hard work the past couple months, but we're finally that day is almost here. Definitely.
Yeah, that's where the candies is at. Yeah, I wanted to ask you because since this is the fun part, there's been some downs, which is absolutely normal for every single project that's out there, especially, like say before like the month of May, April, and even March, where, you guys were hustling, I know I've seen you down the trenches, doing the work, it's true post Gen 1, and that can be tough, for project. And I usually make threads about this or post on Twitters and what about it. And when I say, it's not because you do not see project on socials that they do not work. So how was the spring? How was, pre NFT NYC? How was that whole period where,
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely figuring out like what we needed to do to maintain Gen 1, like to have value, to have like more, like, I feel like Cap and I, we spoke about this. It just felt like we weren't providing something at times, and we wanted to have something implemented, either whatever that was, and that turned out to be the breeding system. But we wanted to it didn't feel slow, but felt like we needed to provide something, because a lot of projects did that. You can't just be based off of hype and that's it. So that was my my standpoint during that period, and that's when we got into mall, and you Cap.
I think like a lot of brainstorming of how you could keep adding value, or keep the FOMO going, the utilities, like why would you want to keep buying off secondary market, especially when a time when we're not having a drop for several months. And that is the hard part. And especially I think one fallback that we had was not having royalties on our Gen 1, which didn't really help us with project wise, but it helped the community more, that's what was worth it for, the community wise. But with the project building, we didn't have like a ton of funds to be able to build and go and travel like to New York and stuff like that. So I think that was the downside. Yeah,
and that was it was a unique time because I'd been involved in Koala since like January, so it was definitely like one of the projects I aped into right away. And for those that don't know, like I didn't join the project till March, and kind of just taking trip down memory lane, like you were saying, Phil, like, late March, early April, May, it was kind of like the lull period. Like there was the initial rush and excitement of, okay, we finally have the tools, we can mint, there's secondary markets, Zeus is going live, and all of a sudden liquidity like kind of dried up in the space. And so I was one of the first like 50 EVIP members. And then, once again, this is kind of just like an organic relationship that happened. And I just started like, communicating to the guys and started shilling ideas like, hey, what if we do this? What if we do this? And it wasn't even because I was on the team at the time. It was just like, I had to consider, I really wanted to see the best thing possible for koalas. And so eventually they were like, all right, maybe this guy's not an idiot. I guess maybe he has a couple good ideas. Let's talk to him a little bit further and let's see if we can get him on the team. And then at that point, I think we kind of made a strategic decision like, all right, we can either, kind of jam down Gen 2 down everyone's throat when there's really not the time and the space for it. Liquidity's dried up, or we can kind of take a step back and we can start building some stuff that will set us up for success in the future. So, that's when we decided like, all right, we're going to start figuring out how we're going to do this farming stuff. How are we going to do staking it? Are we going to do our own token? Are we going to maybe do like the play to earn route? So like we started doing a lot of brainstorming and we took a lot of feedback from the community. And I think that's definitely, it kind of sucked at first because, the Hedera heat wave was going on in June and like all these projects were popping off and taking off. And it was like, we were kind of not sitting on the sidelines, but we felt like we weren't really taking part of it. So we decided like, hey, even though we're not in the middle of the Hedera heat wave, we know we're building something that's going to be extremely awesome come fall time when we're ready to go. And then once we got everything set in place, we know it's going to take off again. So hopefully we can kind of carry the momentum that happened during the summer. And then hopefully it's carries us through, basically the year.
I was gonna touch on that as well. I think Maul was right. Like our turnaround basically was we kind of turned towards the EVIPs and we started having calls like every other week / month. And then that's when, people like Maul and DYOR and, there's a couple other people that kept throwing ideas and that really helped spark it. So like I think turning to the community is really what helps you build your project as well, because they have the ideas, they want to help invest and they want to be a part of it.
And you have one hell of a community too. I mean, nobody ever let up in there, especially you're what 1.7 inside the Discord, 6K whatever on Twitter. That's super strong. No, it is, and especially for the age, especially again since the infamous less than 3K active wallets right now in our space. This is crazy, and nobody has really let up down there. And I want to touch on the subject where, you guys were working hard, even though, the Hedera heat wave was there to broaden, our eyes and horizon, especially on newcomers that came in, especially with all the crazy sales. But the community always stays strong. You always had that core that was like with the GMs and the, hey, what's up? When's next? When's Gen 2? Nothing, bringing the hype. It's true. And that's so strong. It's part of the branding.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, it's one of the things I think definitely kept us going because, there's a lot of projects where if you went 6 or 7 months in between your mints, things can die out very quickly. Like people can abandon your community. They can go on to the next thing. Like, hey, I'm going to jump in this Discord, start talking and chatting in here, forget about the other one. And unfortunately, some projects can die out. So fortunately, we have super strong community, like you were saying, that's really carried us through, the past couple months. And hopefully this mint will pay off for them and be a great experience. And like I said, continue on the Hedera heat wave through the winter.
Yeah, it's definitely been a learning experience going through, let's say, the time that we went from a drop with a few months until now we're actually have another drop. We've learned a lot of like different marketing ways to go about it. Like illustrations kind of help more. Like there's just so much that we can bring now, especially being in the space for about a year now.
Yeah, super OG. That's true. That's true.
Coming up on a year, I guess. What you guys said, it's November, right? Officially.
And November will be a year for Koala.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Congrats. We're gonna have a party for that for sure. I wanted to touch on the what's your vision to not too far away, right? Because it goes on so fast. So let's just fast forward. Like the mint goes on. I predict a sold out for sure, 100%. I wish that for you also. Then first quarter of 2023. What's happening? What's up with Koalas? Where are you guys going?
I mean, I'll let Maul touch it out. Okay. I mean,
I would say so.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. for the game plan, like I mentioned, after Gen 2, we're gonna go ahead and get the liquidity pool set up on Saucer Swap. which I don't know if you guys were paying attention, but like it looks like they're definitely doing a lot more of a betting process, I should say. So not just any random coins can be able to get listed. So there's a lot of checks and balances they're putting in place, which I think is definitely going to be great. I kind of already reviewed the list that they have, and I think that we definitely qualify. So I don't imagine that being an issue. But yeah, we'll get listed on, like I said, SATOSHI with our utility token KHK. Then I would say at that point, hopefully in the next month or two, we can kind of sign a lot of the official paperwork, make the announcement for the gaming studio that's going to be building our play to earn game. We'll start production on the game. We're going to start production on the artwork for it. So we'll have our own separate spin-off collection. It's going to be called Koala Club, collection of 256 NFTs. That will basically give you token gated access to monthly tournaments where you can play the game. Basically, 20,000 HBAR in prizes each month for the top 16 placeholders. So if you get first place, you win the whole tournament, you make like 10,000 HBAR. Second through like 16 is going to get, split the other 9.5. And we got some other nice little details in there to kind of help the rest of the holders that maybe don't make it as far in the tournament. But we'll get through that. And then, obviously start production on Gen 3, beginning of the year. We got a lot more plans for marketing, a lot of stuff that we're doing. We just signed a partnership with Blade Wallet. So shout out to them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that we're doing. So, we definitely have a solid roadmap, for the next 6 to 9 months. It's just going to come down to a thing of, matter of executing at this point, but I got no doubt that we will.
Real cool. I mean, I'm hyped, and I know I'm not the only one for sure. How do you see the market right now? We've talked about the Hedera heat wave, and everything's going up. Market is kind of in a funky place where there seems to be liquidity, but people are really like focused on, okay, I'm going to just mint this and just.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you see all of this? Because of course, it's really different from this summer. It's different from the spring. Of course, it all varies. There's multiple steps to this. In this precise phase, how do you navigate through it?
That's a good question, honestly. I think that local lizards actually had a good point on this because we just jumped out of spaces with them, and they were basically talking about like how a lot of their holders that are holding a lot might sell off a little bit of their NFTs to go buy into our project or Hangry's project that's about to drop, or Pixelland, and then they'll go back into their and grab off the floor or something later on, because we're all still building the same like huge community together. But it's just like how the liquidity kind of transfers from the projects when mints come up, I feel like.
Yeah, like we mentioned this earlier today as well. Like, you don't want the same people buying the same stuff and just the same niche. Like, it's good to have solid people, but it just gets like repetitive. And so, as Hedera's growing and the Hedera NFT space is growing, which is it is. We've seen that over the the Hedera heat wave with all the newcomers coming in. Like, the liquidity, we feel it's right. That's why we're minting now. And yeah, that's just my thought.
Yeah, I mean, to kind of piggyback off what Buck's saying here is, I definitely think we are maybe not necessarily in like a lull period, but like you were saying, Phil, liquidity is kind of drying up. I think a lot of the newcomers, a lot of people in the space in general, are being maybe not necessarily stingy, but they're just being a little more, smart with what they're doing as far as, okay, where am I only got a certain amount of HBAR, like where am I going to utilize it? Where am I going to deploy it? So I think we're seeing a lot of money that's going to go into kind of like the established projects, the projects that are doing extremely well, that have really strong communities, have great roadmaps, great white papers, that really have a vision and a future of what they plan on doing. And like Buck was saying, I think that not only like, projects, but HBAR variants in general, like what we really need to focus on, what we need to do is, we do need to bring in more people into the community, into the ecosystem. So, that doesn't fall on just the projects, but, if you see someone that's talking about Solana NFTs or the other Twitter spaces, like hop on and talk about it. And this was something that, when we were on the spaces with Headstarter earlier, like King Solomon jumped on and kind of started talking about it. Yeah, it was really good. And he was, kind of like chiming in, saying a lot, saying stuff, but like, we need to focus on building bridges. We need to bring in other members from different communities. So, maybe instead of like talking down on Solana, like, dude, you have a crap network, it's crashed like fourth or fifth time, like bashing, like we need to get rid of the tribalism. We need to build bridges and bring people over. So start asking questions like, hey, we're a project creator, we're working on this. Like, what are you guys building? What are the tools that you guys use? What are the great things about your network? So I think the more that we can kind of like network between cross-chain, bring people in, and then open up opportunities for more people to join your community, which is kind of why we decided hey, we could have done like 2 or 3 mints for each whitelist. So for instance, drop one is 800 drops or 800 NFTs. We only did 250 on the whitelist and only 1 mint per whitelist because we wanted, our valued members and community people to be able to mint, have a stress-free experience, but then we also wanted to bring in new people.
Yeah,
so
that
really opens up the opportunity. Like we don't want to just keep all the koalas or all the Hedera NFTs like within a few small hands. Like we want the space to grow. So, on top of that, like I mentioned earlier, we signed a partnership deal with Blade Wallet, which we're super bullish on. They have a great team. We've been in meetings with them for the past couple months, kind of what their long-term vision is, where they're thinking about taking the space. They're not trying to step on the toes of Hashback. Obviously, Hashback is what like 99% of the users within the community use. They're taking kind of a different approach to where they're focusing on enterprise use cases and bringing in serious partnerships. So, when we officially signed the partnership, they already said, hey, we're going to cross-pollinate and market you guys to our 16, 20 partnerships that we already have.
Wow.
These are people that are, focused on what they call like the fame industries. So it's fashion, art, music, entertainment. So they have some partnership deals that they're about to announce with some major sports media groups, professional gamers, multi-award-winning artists. So it's like a lot of what they're focusing on is building the transition for people that are in Web 2 that are interested in Web 3 and making it a smooth, easy, seamless process. So, between having mobile capable wallets on iOS and Android, extension on Chrome, wherever you plan on using like your Hedera wallet, it's easily accessible through Blade. So they can basically bring in a lot of people from these different industries that maybe they have big bags of HBAR, but they haven't really delved into Hedera NFTs.
Yeah, because they don't know.
Exactly. But if we kind of get our foot in the doors and expose them, then all of a sudden maybe they get an NFT from Koala and like, hey, this is really easy. It was super cheap. Transactions are fast. Then they start looking into other projects. So I think by doing that and kind of expanding our borders and bringing in more people to the community, overall, not just helping our project, but it's going to help the entire ecosystem as a whole.
I agree.
I think we could do a lot of like marketing campaigns for different projects as well to be able to bring in new people. Like I heard like Cardano NFTs is starting to get popular a little bit. And, there's so many different, chains besides just Solana that we could target to start bringing people over here. And if I feel like if we, have these marketing campaigns with a lot of big projects, small projects, whatever, we can bring more people in instead of trying to do it individually by project.
That's what we tend to do usually, and that's when our fall parts, as humans, where we try to, and I'm at fault at this, of course, when Solana had some troubles this summer, when we were on the uprising, it was absolutely crazy. We tend to go like, hey, trash XYZ and just hop on with us, but since we're so early, again, that's the key word, right? Maybe again, like you were saying, Molly, the silver lining over there is just saying, hey, you have some solutions, we have some problems, and vice versa too, and we can help each other grow that way since we are so early. Even though, of course, Solana is way ahead in terms of sales, and we're not even talking about ETH, but still, that we can benefit from this kind of relationship instead of course, stepping on toes.
Yeah, exactly, and that's, like I said, a great point. I think that if we can just get as many people to come over as possible, just kind of explain the benefits and be very educational and kind of like embrace the culture that the Hedera ecosystem is kind of like self-created, to where it's very welcoming. It's very easy. Like we all know each other. We all talk to each other. Like I have great relationships with everyone. It's like, I know more about people within the community. I've never seen their face, but like, I know what's going on in their personal life between work and family and all kinds of other stuff.
True.
So I think when like people come over, they're like, damn, like this community is awesome. Like, all projects are working together. We're all supporting each other. Like no one's bashing each other. Like we're all trying to help out. So I think when people start to like transition over here and they recognize, how amazing culture that we have within the ecosystem, and then they realize the technology, the low cost of minting a 10,000, NFT projects, what, like $78, $80 or whatever it is. Low gas fees, the security of the network, all kinds of things, like the tools that are being built. So it's like we are laying the groundwork and the foundation. Now it's just a matter of once the people come, how do we build those bridges and make sure that they stay?
Two last topics, guys, and I will let you go since I know you're on the road and you're on the clock to mint.
I appreciate it, but we can talk to you all day, man.
I know. I appreciate it.
It's all good, man. This is the fun stuff.
I appreciate it. Thanks. Thank you for just taking the time. What do you think? You were talking about the Hedera community, and when you get to think about what's an amazing Hedera community NFT, we think often about you guys. Why do you think you embody this so well in a way that damn, you see Koalas, you know, Discord is vibing, socials are really, it's thriving. Why do you think it is that way? What's the
About
angle?
Koala Club in general.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's because we're community driven, ever since the beginning.
Yeah.
And I know, especially in the very beginning, like me and Buck both started with no jobs. Like this was just straight full time. We jumped into it, and we had so much time. It was almost like 24/7. We'd be staying up until like 3, 4 a.m. texting, talking like all the time with the community members and building strong like friendships with them. And then that, comes along with trust and like, loyalty and everything going forward. So a lot of those people are actually our EVIPs that hold for a long time. And I think just over time, we've done a lot of polls and we've done calls, and we're always like, are you sure you want this? Like, like we'll change different things if the community wants it. I feel like that's something that really helps in our transparency, like that comes into the project. When something goes wrong, we're going to tell the people first off, or we always like stay strict to our, promising. If we promise, it's going to happen. Like we talk about it over and over and over again behind the scenes to make sure that we can say it out loud, basically.
Yeah,
I
and
know
like,
they can touch on that stuff too.
yeah, like for sure. Like, if you just treat everyone just like as customers, it's not gonna be like, it's not always the best approach. Like, Kat, like we built, relationships and conversations with people, and being in a Discord, and like because we created it, we're not just gonna like push it to the side and just post announcements. Like we have to be engageful. I think that's really what like helped us grow in that aspect. Replying to people, it sounds like it's really simple, but it's really not when you text and replying to people, just to build that connection, because you don't want to just like to get that community driven aspect, to have people feel welcomed and not just like, other chains, that's huge where, you're just, a little tiny ant compared to everyone. So I make everyone feel heard.
Yeah,
and
and to touch on that, I think like you have to have two different modes. Like you have to be serious at some points, but at some points you have to be goofy and yourself, like people like to see emotion and connection. So I think that helps a lot when building and, relationships and friendships with people.
For sure.
It's all about balance. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's the same thing for mids and drops in the channel. I think that's an angle that works in a way that if you're genuine with people, even with your F-ups, people want to see it, because that's it's true. That's how life is, and even when you're down, even when it doesn't work, I mean, that's how life is. So at one point, yeah, you're right. I think that's how everything unfolded for you guys, and that's why it's been so effective, because you go down there, you go in the Discord, and you're going to have a great time. EVIP, general, everywhere, game nights, whatnot, raffles, farming, breeding, at least, it's going to be 3 guys hustling, and they're doing the work. And
yeah, and I think if you go in with a good incentive and you always have like a positive vibration, like you kind of bring, and we're like always talking about manifestation and all that stuff. So we're like, if we're thinking that we're going to have a positive community, like we're going to be trying to do that, like we're trying to do anything for our future that's genuine and in front of everybody.
Yeah, there's like a quote, I can't remember it, but if you're chasing after people to love you, like that's not for them. Like if you're chasing after something, and let the people come to you and let them like you for who you are, and not try to change it up just for them to like you. And I feel like we've done like a really good job not trying to be someone we're not, and that
we're really big on mental health. I feel like that kind of helps as well, understanding a lot of people, and then just like in general, our team is just really good on like time. Like we have Big Chili's, he's one of our admins, and loving all of our admins, just pointing him out in general. He'll wake up when we're going to bed. So like we still have an active community when we're not able to be there. So it's like almost 24/7 of you can talk in koalas, or you can do whatever with still engagement.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say for sure. It's like we have really strong community base, and between the mods, the EVIPs, we have people that no matter what, like, are supporting us. And even if we're busy doing something and we can't hop in the chat, there's always someone else that's able to chime in and answer questions or point people in the right direction. So
that's true.
I think that's just like it's one of those things where, okay, like why is this project successful versus this other project's not? And I think a lot of it does come out of community. And I think we've seen that obviously with like Dead Pixel Ghost and a lot of the other projects that have blown up and done extremely well. It's, you know, no matter what, they have a strong base and a strong community. And then, you know, everyone gets along. There's always positive vibes. Everyone's willing to help each other. And I think that just kind of goes in touch with everything that the Hedera ecosystem really stands for. So, you know, I think we're just extremely lucky that we have great mods, great team members, great community. And that's what's really kind of, you know, driving us to make sure that we do everything possible to make sure the project's successful.
Nice. Hey, last one. I know the Hedera heat wave is gone, but guys, October is lining up to be amazing and you're part of it. What are you minting aside from koalas?
All right, let's first call it Pumptober. Come on.
Yeah.
I'm game.
So
I'm game. Let's start a hashtag and stuff.
Yeah. We've got obviously we got Hangry Barbarians next weekend, so that's for sure. So I'm still on my gold banana coin.
Actual
I didn't paper hand
Numbskulls
that.
is right now.
Yeah, Numbskulls is right now.
We all got the notification.
Public is now.
Yeah, we got Vasisi at the end of the month, so definitely hyped on that. He's got an awesome community, awesome projects. I feel like there's definitely some more, but honestly, this is
not a test, by the way. We're gonna forget about some for sure. Shout out to everyone, anyways, that's minting in October.
Yeah.
We're just for fun, you know. This is not a test. Oh, you forgot about me? No,
Panda was today. Panda was today.
Yeah. It's really nice what he's done.
Yeah,
Great.
and low key, like even fighting for koalas. I'm gonna be minting, bro. Like,
like none of us have whitelists, so like we're fighting for public.
I did buy one second market though.
Okay, well, yeah. So we didn't hold any aside for ourselves. So I mean, I'm gonna be sniping on secondary, like, and really, I'm not too concerned about like rarity traits. I'm just like, hey, that's the one I like. It looks good. That's what I'm going for. So even if it's
exactly, I go the same way.
It's got the traits that I want.
Yeah, exactly. I want something I want, not that. It's just like whatever.
Yep.
Hey guys,
so we're looking forward to it.
Thank you so much for taking the time, especially right now since it's crunch time. I appreciate it, guys, from the jump. I've been in the Discord for a really long time, and I can vouch that, you know, you're real ones. You're working hard, great vibes, doing the work. On point. On point. That's what it is. That's what a great project is, and I wish you nothing but the best going on Saturday onwards and afterwards. Gen 2, Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5, Gen, you know, anything. And I'll see you down in the Discord socials, and I love you guys.
Hey, love you too, bro. Really appreciate it a ton.
Thanks for taking time and let us use your platform to talk about the project.
Hell yeah. Hey, thanks for being here. Take care.
Yeah, thank you, man.
See you
later, bro.